Good evening. It's Wednesday. It's time for the Wednesday Word of Wisdom. Listen, I'm not going to share with you long tonight, but I did want to keep my commitment one to you all, and then also just wanted to provide just a small nugget for you to nibble on for the rest of this week and beyond. I was reading in a journal that my mom gave me for, I think it was Christmas or something, but it's called the Battlefield of the Mind, and it's a commentary by Joyce Myers. And this, I have read this one before, but I thought it was very applicable because I've been having a lot of conversation with people that are really struggling during this time. And so I want to ask the question to you tonight: what's on your mind? Um, but this says these are some keys to a victorious life, and it says thinking on excellent thoughts. We can never become excellent in our actions if we don't first make a commitment to become excellent in our thoughts. Okay, so our thoughts are powerful. Our thoughts can change our whole trajectory. The Bible teaches us to think on things that are filled with virtue and excellence. Think such things as believing the best at all times. We got to believe the best. We got to think the best at all times. Things that are honorable, just, pure, lovely, and lovable, according to Philippians 4 and 8. Yesterday, we had a scare with my precious grandmother, and she had to be rushed off to the hospital. And I was sitting there and I was trying to work. I was online, I was on a training that was quote unquote mandatory, but I'm like, the other, other side of my mind, I was like, no, family is mandatory. But at any rate, I began to think on the good things because, it's so hard to, to think about the worst, especially in situations like that. But anytime we can shift our thinking, shift our minds to think differently, think on the things that are excellent, those things are of good report, those things that are of good virtue, then it can change the whole situation. I was on the phone, my mom was in my ear, she was crying, and I was like, okay, mom, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And in my spirit, I felt that it was okay, but I had to talk to myself and I had to shift my thoughts to think positively so that I didn't go into panic. And I was quite proud because normally when I call my husband, I'm like, baby, I'm just hysterical. But was proud because I was quite calm in sharing with him the things that were taking place. And it was because I had to shift my thoughts. So we have to learn to think excellent thoughts and think good things no matter what the situation looks like. And Joyce continued to say, what kinds of thoughts do you entertain? She asked the question, what kind of thoughts do you entertain? And that's what I'm asking you tonight. What are you thinking? When you recognize that your thoughts are not good, do you take action to cast them out of your mind or do you lazily let them remain? It is impossible to become one of the majestic and the noble and the excellent ones without first developing an excellent mind. That is according to Psalm 16 and 3. God has called each one of us to be excellent in all that we do and to enjoy an excellent life. If you haven't done so yet, start today thinking in that direction. This is so very critical right now, especially as we find ourselves amidst this very challenging situation that is ever changing. One of the things, we have to be intentional in our actions as well to protect those thoughts of peace, those thoughts of good report. I recognized last week, prior to last week, that I had become very engulfed in the negative press, the negative news, and all that. And so it had begun to impact my spirit because if I'm sitting here all day and I'm working and I'm inside these four walls, and someone said, I'm tired of being quarantined. I'm tired of being on lockdown. But if you change the way you think about it, in essence, it's an opportunity for you to be working on a better you. And I'm not on lockdown, but I'm protected, and I'm grateful to have a place wherein I can be protected. But I had started to get bogged down by the news, the negativity, the statistics that were changing so rapidly. And so finally, I just turned the news notifications off of my phone because they were so plentiful and just it was just too much. And so we have to be intentional in our actions and protecting our thoughts and protecting our peace. And we can't allow anyone or anything to disrupt or disturb that. And I don't care who that is. And I'm telling you, people will try you, especially family. Yes, they will try you. But like I told my mom yesterday, look, this rebirth, we just came off of Resurrection Sunday, and Resurrection Sunday, look, that's an opportunity for you to experience a brand new year with a brand new you. Because when Jesus got up out of that grave and they went to the grave and he was no longer there was a transformation that occurred, because the last time that many of them had seen Jesus, he was on the cross, and all they saw were stripes and whips and blood and um, all of the bad visuals that come or that came with the crucifixion. But when they saw the resurrected Jesus, they didn't see that. Um, yes, he still had the nail prints in his hand, and he had to show that to the doubting Thomas and the doubting Thomases of the world. But had he not shown his hands, you would not have known that he was a resurrected Jesus. And so, what I'm saying to you all tonight, that as we transform our thoughts and as we begin to think differently, consequently, our actions are going to follow. We're going to act differently. And then we're going to look differently as a result of our actions. And so, when I say, what are you thinking? Our thoughts are powerful, and everything begins with a simple thought. So, what are you thinking? So, I just charge you all that are listening tonight. Again, I just want to share a few minutes with you of uplift. And of course, I always want to challenge us. I say us because when I speak to you, I am preaching. As I look at this camera, I am looking at myself, and I am preaching to and speaking to and encouraging myself. And so, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? So, transform your thoughts, which will ultimately transform your actions. And then, guess what? The visual, the transformation is going to come behind all of that. Okay? So, I want you to be encouraged. Continue this walk, continue this journey. We are going to get through this. We are in this together. But we need to also learn to be obedient and just exercise wisdom. It is so critical during these times. So, anyway, I'm going to be out. Love you all so much. I'm praying for you, and I ask that you all continue to pray for me and my family as well. Stay encouraged, and let's transform our lives by our thinking. All right? Have a great one. Good night.